The observation deck of Orbital Station Artemis offered the finest view of Earth from space. But Dr. Elias Morgan couldn't tear his eyes away from the alien diplomat who had just entered. Her skin was a soft purple hue that seemed to shimmer under the station's lights.
Yes.
And her movements were graceful despite Earth's unfamiliar gravity. Elias straightened his lab coat nervously. As the leading xenobiologist on the station, he was responsible for ensuring the comfort of their extraterrestrial guests during this historic peace conference. The Lycaonis delegation had arrived just hours ago, the first of their kind to visit the solar system. Dr. Morgan? The alien's voice was melodic, almost hypnotic. I am Nixera, cultural attached to Ambassador Vex lore. I was told you might assist me with some adaptation difficulties. Elias extended his hand, then awkwardly retracted it, remembering the briefing about Lycaonis physical contact protocols. Yes, of course. What seems to be the problem? Nixara's lips curved into a subtle smile. The atmospheric composition here is causing some discomfort. I was wondering if we might discuss potential adjustments in private. My laboratory would be suitable, Elias replied, gesturing toward the corridor. It's equipped for various species needs. As they walked, Elias noticed how other crew members stared at Nixera. Her presence was captivating, not just her unusual coloring, but something in her eyes that seemed ancient and wise. Inside the lab, Nixara examined the equipment with curiosity. Impressive technology for such a young species, she murmured. Young? Elias raised an eyebrow. We've been developing our science for thousands of years. My people measure time differently, she replied enigmatically. May I? She gestured to a sealed door at the back of the lab. That's my private research area, Elias said hesitantly. Nixara stepped closer, her scent reminiscent of exotic flowers Elias couldn't name. What I need to discuss is... sensitive. Your superiors might not approve. Elias knew he should refuse. But something in her gaze made rational thought difficult. What exactly are we discussing? With a quiet smile, she said, Lock the door. Dr. Morgan, no one must disturb us. Then she reached up and removed the small breathing apparatus from her face, something the briefing had explicitly stated was never to be removed in human presence. What are you doing? Elias whispered, alarmed yet fascinated. Showing you truth, Nixara replied, her eyes changing color from amber to a deep, glowing violet. There's something about your planet's future you need to know. I've chosen you to hear it first. Against all protocol, Elias reached behind him and locked the laboratory door. Nixara moved around the laboratory with curious grace, her fingers delicately tracing the equipment. Without her breathing apparatus, her features seemed even more striking. High cheekbones framed those mesmerizing violet eyes that hadn't stopped studying Elias. Since he locked the door, your superiors believe we came for a simple peace treaty, she said softly. But the truth is more complex. Elias leaned against his desk, trying to maintain professional composure despite the protocol violation happening before him. What exactly do you mean? My species has been watching Earth for centuries, Nixara explained. Your technological development has accelerated faster than any civilization we've encountered. It concerns some of our elders. She moved closer, close enough that Elias could count the subtle iridescent markings along her temples. But I see something different in humans. Especially in you, Dr. Morgan. In me. Elias swallowed hard. I'm just a scientist. Nixara smiled. You underestimate yourself. Your research on interspecies biology shows remarkable insight for someone who's never left your solar system. Her hand reached toward his face, hesitating just inches away. May I? She whispered. When he nodded, her fingertips brushed his temple with unexpected warmth. The contact sent a strange tingling sensation down his spine. Our species is telepathic, she explained. This is why the breathing apparatus is mandatory in diplomatic settings. It contains technology that blocks our abilities. But I need you to understand, without filters between us. Images flooded Ilias's mind, vast cities on distant worlds. Technology beyond his comprehension, and something else, A looming threat that made his heart race. When the connection broke, Elias found himself breathless, his hand unconsciously gripping Nixara's arm. What was that last image? Something is coming, isn't it? Yes, she whispered, her expression grave. And your world is unprepared. As the days passed, their meetings continued in secret. Each time, Nixara revealed more about her species and the coming danger. Each time, the professional boundary between them blurred further. During their fourth private session, as Nixara showed him star charts of potential invasion routes, Elias noticed how her hands trembled. "You're risking everything by telling me this, aren't you?" he asked. "My position, certainly," she admitted. "Possibly my life. But I believe your species deserves a chance." When their eyes met this time, tension between them shifted into something neither could ignore. Elias reached for her hand, and for the first time she didn't pull away. "Why me?" he whispered, Nixara's fingers intertwined with his. "Because in all our observations of your kind, you were the one who always looked up at the stars with wonder instead of fear." Rain pattered against the observatory. Doma's Elias paced nervously. 3 weeks had passed since his first private meeting with Nixara, and tonight she promised to reveal everything why the Lycani really came to Earth. The door slid open silently as she entered. Wearing traditional garments instead of her diplomatic uniform, the flowing fabric accentuated her movements as she approached. "No more secrets tonight," she said, her voice both determined and vulnerable. Elias nodded, trying to ignore how his heart raced whenever she was near. "I'm ready." Nixara removed a small crystal from a hidden pocket. "This contains the complete truth about the coming threat. About why my people are divided on how to handle your species." She placed it on his research console, and it illuminated with swirling data mathematical equations, biological formulas, and strategic assessments. "The Voidborn," she explained, as terrifying images appeared. "They consume worlds. They've already taken 3 systems in neighboring galaxies." Elias studied the projections with growing horror. "These casualty estimates, are conservative," she finished. "My faction believes alliance with Earth is our best hope. Your adaptability, combined with our technology, might be the only defense." "And the other faction?" Elias asked. Nixara's expression darkened. "They believe conquering Earth preemptively would be more efficient. Use your resources and population without the complications of ... equality." The implications hung heavy between them. Elias understood now why these meetings had been conducted in absolute secrecy. "The peace conference ... is genuine for some delegates," she said. "But others are assessing Earth's vulnerabilities." Elias moved closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "Is that why you chose me? To manipulate Earth through someone with access?" Pain flashed across Nixara's features. She reached for his face, pressing her forehead against his in the Lycani gesture of absolute truth. "I chose you because I saw your soul, Elias. Because when our minds touched that first day, I felt something I never expected to find on an alien world." The telepathic connection opened between them, stronger than before, and Elias gasped as he experienced her emotions directly. There was no deception there, only genuine concern for both their species, and something deeper, more personal when they separated. Elias found his hands had moved to her waist. Holding her close, "Help me save both our worlds," she whispered, her lips inches from his. "What can one scientist possibly do against this threat?" he asked. Nixara's eyes glowed with intensity. "You can start by trusting me completely." His answer came not in words, but in action, as he closed the distance between them, their lips meeting in a kiss that crossed the boundaries of worlds. Morning light streamed through the station viewport as Elias reviewed the data Nixara had shared. For the past week, he'd been analyzing the Voidborn threat while keeping up appearances with his Earth security briefings. The double life was taking its toll. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, but determination kept him working. The door chime interrupted his thoughts. "Enter," he called, quickly hiding the alien data crystal. Commander Hayes strode in, her uniform crisp and her expression severe. "Dr. Morgan, we need to discuss your unusual lab access patterns." Elias maintained a neutral expression. "Research doesn't follow standard hours." "Commander, neither does treason," she replied coldly. Placing a surveillance image on his desk, him and Nixara entering his private lab after hours, his stomach dropped. "It's not what you think." "Enlighten me," Hayes challenged. "Because my superiors believe you're compromised. The Lycani diplomat has been observed without her regulatory equipment around you. That violates 17 protocols." Elias weighed his options. The commander was Earth intelligence. Telling her about the Voidborn might save his career, but would it endanger Nixara? "She's been helping me understand xenobiology," he offered carefully. "Off-record exchanges benefit our research." Hayes leaned closer. "You have 48 hours to submit all information gained from these exchanges, or face charges." "We're watching you, Doctor." She turned to leave, pausing at the door. "And the Lycani delegation departs in 3 days. Whatever you think is happening between you two, it ends then." After she left, Elias sank into his chair, mind racing. 3 days to decide the fate of 2 worlds and his heart. That evening, he met Nixara in the station's arboretum during its closed hours. The artificial twilight bathed her purple skin in soft blue tones as she emerged from between earth trees. "We've been discovered," he said without preamble. Her expression remained calm. "I expected this. My faction prepared contingencies." "Contingencies?" Elias stepped closer. "Nixara, they're threatening treason charges." She reached for his hands,
Oh.
her touch sending familiar warmth through him. "Come with me when we depart. My people can protect you. And together we can prepare a proper alliance, one that will truly save both our species." The offer stunned him. "Leave Earth? My home, my family, ... double quotes to save them," she finished, her eyes intense. "The Voidborn will reach this system within 2 Earth years. Without Lycani technology, your world has no defense." Elias turned away, gazing at the Earth hanging beautiful and vulnerable in the viewport. "If I leave, I'll be branded a traitor. If I stay and try to convince my superiors, I'll dismiss the threat as alien manipulation." Nixara moved behind him, her arms encircling his waist, her cheek resting against his back. "This choice was always coming, Elias. From the moment I removed my mask and showed you truth," he turned in her embrace, studying her face, alien yet now so familiar, so dear to him. "What we have, ... Is it real? Or just diplomatic strategy?" Her answer came as she guided his hand to the center of her chest, where he could feel her heart's beating rapidly. "Does this feel like strategy to you?" Their lips met with newfound urgency, the station's artificial night cloaking them as they surrendered to feelings that transcended their different worlds. Later, as they lay together among the soft grasses of the Arboretum's meadow section, Elias made his decision. "I'll need to leave a warning, something they might find after I'm gone. Something they can't ignore." Nixara nodded against his chest. 2 days, then? To save 2 worlds? The departure bay bustled with activity as the Lycani delegation prepared to board their ship. Ambassador Vexler delivered final diplomatic pleasantries, while Earth officials maintained polite smiles. From his hidden position in the maintenance corridor, Elias watched through a service grate. His laboratory had been sealed that morning after he'd triggered a containment alarm diversion that would keep security. Busy just long enough? On his desk, he'd left everything: comprehensive data about the Voidborn, technical specifications for defensive systems, and a personal message explaining his choice. He'd encoded it all with a time-release algorithm in 3 days. Every major scientific institution on Earth would receive copies. His communicator vibrated with a simple message. Now, Elias slipped through the service tunnels, heart pounding. When he reached the secondary cargo bay, Nixara was waiting with a small transport container. "The scanner shields will only work for 7 minutes, she whispered, helping him inside the specially modified container. The journey to the Lycani ship was the longest 15 minutes of his life, cramped darkness punctuated by the muffled sounds of loading equipment and voices. When the container finally opened, he found himself in a dimly lit cargo hold, with Nixara smiling down at him. "Welcome aboard the Stellaris," she said, helping him out. "We've entered Lightfold in approximately 12 minutes. Elias checked his watch Earth time, though it would soon be meaningless. Hayes will have discovered my absence by now." "It doesn't matter," Nixara assured him, leading him through corridors unlike any human vessel. "We'll be beyond their reach before they can mount any response." She brought him to an observation deck where curved windows revealed Earth and the orbital station growing smaller as they departed. A bittersweet ache filled his chest. "Second thoughts?" she asked softly. "No," he answered truthfully. "Just saying goodbye." The ship hummed as preparation for Lightfold drive intensified. Nixara led him to a private chamber where several Lycani officials waited. "Dr. Morgan," one greeted him, "your sacrifice will not be forgotten. You are the first bridge between our peoples, but not the last." Another stepped forward with a small device. "This translator implant will help you communicate with all our species. The procedure is simple." As the ship's engines crescendoed, Elias submitted to the procedure. The subtle pinch at his temple was followed by an explosion of comprehension. Suddenly, the Lycani language made perfect sense. "Remarkable," he breathed. Nixara smiled, taking his hands in hers. "This is just the beginning." Through the chamber's viewport, Elias watched as stars elongated into brilliant streaks. Earth vanished from view as the ship accelerated beyond light speed. In that moment, between worlds and stars, Nixara's fingers intertwined with his. "We have 2 years to prepare your world's defense," she said, "and a lifetime to explore what lies between us." Elias squeezed her hand, no longer seeing her as alien, but simply as the person who had shown him a larger universe and his place within it. 2 worlds, he whispered. 1 future, as the ship carried them toward a distant sun. Elias realized that sometimes the greatest discoveries required removing everything familiar, just as Nixara had removed her mask that first day. With a quiet smile and a locked door between them and the world they'd left behind,